Hey friends, thanks for clicking on this video. I hope you're doing well today. If you've ever felt drained by certain people in your life and wondered whether it's okay to walk away, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about something powerful: how to be okay with being alone. Let's start.
1. You have to learn how to be okay with being alone. Now, this is very hard for most people because most people want to be in a relationship, but if you force it, you will lose, okay? So I'm going to tell you something right now that might be hard to hear, but this is the truth, and the truth will set you free, all right? So here's the thing. The reason why so many women out there are single is not because men don't like them, or they're too picky, or they're too this or that. The real reason why women are single is because they cannot be alone. Most women out there who are single cannot be alone for more than 2 weeks. They need to have somebody around, somebody to talk to, somebody to be close to, even if it's just sex, right? Because they cannot deal with themselves. Most women out there cannot deal with themselves. They cannot sit in their own presence. They can't look at themselves in the mirror and be comfortable. They can't go to sleep and be okay by themselves. So if you're one of those women, you will never have a man, okay? As a matter of fact, let me just tell you something else. A lot of women out there are in relationships and they still cannot be alone. A lot of women are in relationships and they're miserable and they're still cheating and they're still doing all the things they were doing before because they cannot be alone. So if you're a woman who is struggling with being alone, if you're a woman who's trying to find a man but you're still in your party girl phase where you're always out, you're always with friends, you're always got a new guy, this is the wake-up call, okay? As a matter of fact, it's not even a wake-up call. This is you getting slapped in the face with reality. And what happens is when you're always around people, you're always in a relationship, you never learn how to be alone. So when you get dumped, you don't know what to do. When you break up with somebody, you do know what to do because you've never learned how to sit in your own presence. You've never learned how to be okay by yourself. You've never learned how to love yourself. And without self-love, you will never be able to have a man. Okay? Without self-love, you will never be happy. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you something else. Most women out there don't even know how to be by themselves without being miserable. So if you're one of those women, as I said, you will never have a man. Okay, so that was number 1. Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is the opposite of that. Men who cannot be alone for more than 2 weeks. I'm talking about guys who are always looking for a new girl. Guys who are always in a relationship. Guys who are always attached. These men will never have a wife. Okay? These men will never have a serious woman in their life because these men are afraid to be alone. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you something else. Men who are afraid to be alone are not ready to be in a relationship, okay? They may think they are, but they're not. Why? Because a man who's afraid to be alone is running away from himself. He's running away from his pain. He's running away from his problems. He's running away from his issues. And when you run away from yourself, you cannot run towards a woman. You have to face yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to be okay with who you are before you can be in a relationship. If you're not okay with yourself, if you're not comfortable with yourself, you will never be comfortable with a woman. If you're not comfortable with yourself, you will project that uncomfortableness onto a woman and that relationship will never last. I'm telling you right now, a relationship has to start with you first. You have to be okay with you. You have to be okay with being alone before you can be in a relationship. You have to be okay with not having somebody every day, not having somebody to come home to, not having somebody to talk to. You have to be okay with being by yourself, with facing yourself, with looking at yourself in the mirror and being comfortable with who you are inside and out. If you're not comfortable with yourself, if you cannot be alone, you will never have a relationship. Now, I know some of you men out there are thinking that you can be alone, but really you can't. Really, you're just distracting yourself with porn and video games and other things. You're distracting yourself from the real issue, which is you. If you're one of those men, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but this is the harsh reality, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. What if she cheats on me? What if she leaves me? What if she breaks my heart? Here's the thing, you're already broken, okay? Your heart is already broken. You're already broken inside. You're already hurting inside. You're already carrying a broken heart around. So what does she have to do to break your heart? She can't break your heart if your heart is already broken. So you're already broken. So stop worrying about what she might do to you because you're already broken. You're already hurt. You're already carrying pain inside of you. So what does she have to do to make you feel worse than you already feel? Nothing. You're already broken. So please fix yourself first before you worry about her, okay? Before you try to attach yourself to a woman, you have to fix yourself first. The next thing I want to say is that most women out there only want a man to make them feel good. They only want a man for his money, his status, his looks, his attention. They don't want a man because they like him. They don't want a man because they love him. They want a man because they need him. So if you're one of those men who's chasing after a woman because you think she needs you, guess what? She doesn't need you. She may say she does, but she doesn't. She may act like she loves you, but she doesn't. She may pretend to be with you, but she's not really there. If you're one of those men who's chasing after a woman because he thinks she needs him, she doesn't, okay? She may say she does, but she doesn't. A lot of women out there will never admit this, but they only want a man to make them feel good about themselves. They only want a man to validate them. They only want a man to give them attention. They don't want a man because they actually like him. They want a man because they need him. They want a man because they're lonely. So if you're one of those men who's chasing after a woman because you think she needs you, she doesn't. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you something else. A lot of women out there will never admit this, but they only want a man to make them feel good about themselves. They only want a man to validate them. They only want a man to give them attention. They don't want a man because they actually like him. They want a man because they need him. They want a man because they're lonely. Now this might sound harsh to some of you, but this is the truth. This is the raw, unfiltered truth, and the truth will set you free. If you keep on living in denial, if you keep on pretending that women actually want you, if you keep on pretending that women actually love you, you will never be successful with women. You will never have a woman. You will never have a relationship. If you want a woman, if you want a wife, you have to give her something that she actually wants. And what does she want? She wants you to be okay with being alone. She wants you to be secure in your masculinity. She wants you to be confident in your manhood. She wants you to be strong in your purpose. She wants you to be focused on your mission. She wants you to be a leader, not a follower. She wants you to be a provider, not a taker. She wants you to be a protector, not a victim. So if you want a relationship, if you want a wife, if you want a family, you have to start by being okay with being alone. You have to start by being comfortable with yourself. You have to start by loving yourself. You have to start by being your true, authentic self. You have to stop trying to be somebody you're not. You have to stop trying to please women. You have to stop trying to conform to society's standards. You have to stop trying to be what other people want you to be. You have to start being what you want to be. And listen, this is not just advice. This is not just some random dude talking crap on the internet. This is my life. This is my story. I've been through hell and back with women. I've been through the highest highs and the lowest lows. And I'm telling you right now, being alone is the best place to be if you want a relationship. If you want a wife, if you want a family, if you want to be with a woman, then you have to start by being alone. Trust me, brother, trust me. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there, I've done that, I've been broken, I've been hurt, I've been lost, but I found myself, I found my way, and so can you. All you have to do is be okay with being alone. All you have to do is be okay with being by yourself. All you have to do is be okay with not having somebody every day. All you have to do is be okay with not having somebody to talk to. All you have to do is be okay with not having somebody to make you feel good. All you have to do is be okay with being alone. And when you are truly alone, when you're truly by yourself, that's when you will find yourself. That's when you will find your purpose. That's when you will find your mission. That's when you will find your strength. That's when you will find your confidence. That's when you will find your power. That's when you will find your masculinity. That's when you will find your manhood. And that's when you will find a woman.